Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. My name is Govinda Dasi, and I'm one of the early disciples of Srila Prabhupada from 1967. I met him in January of 1967 when I was a young college student, just arrived in San Francisco. From that time on, he was my beloved spiritual master, and he still is. And because I was with him in the very early times, there are many wonderful memories that I wanted to share. So I've written a couple of memoir books. One of them is called A Place of Sandalwood and Roses. It's available online. And the other one is called, it just came out, Those Magical Days of Sandalwood and Roses. Why Sandalwood and Roses? Because being with Srila Prabhupada was like being in a magical dimension of Krishna consciousness. Krishna Bhakti flowed freely. We were just like a family. It was the happiest time. 1967, 68, and 69 were really wonderful. And those times are very special. And so I want to share them with the coming generations. So many of you don't even know how wonderful it was in those early days, because there's been so much ugly political stuff, you might say. And so I want to share with you what it was really like to be with Srila Prabhupada when he was the center of the mission and his books were everything. Actually, to be really honest, we didn't have any books yet. We just had his voice. The sound of his voice. We just had his singing, his speaking, and his character. And now we had his books. But that's another issue. So now I just would like to share with you some of the chapters from my coming book so that I can get your feedback. And maybe you can give me ideas on my third book. This is called The Day the Bells Quit Ringing. It's the first chapter of my book. Sound was all we had. Srila Prabhupada's voice, singing the morning prayers with pure devotion. His voice lifting us to mystical dimensions of divine love. Sound, those sacred sounds, this was all we had. There were no volumes of books yet. That came later. We had only Srila Prabhupada's voice and his 3 books that he brought with him from India, and that they were not yet carved into proper grammar, but they were powerful just the same, because they held the sound of his voice. Then, when the word covers came with their word-perfect tools, his voice was stolen and the bells fell silent. They stole the sacred sounds of the bells that had been ringing for centuries. This is the story of those mystical bells, now lost to mankind, in a world that so desperately needs to hear them again. This book, Divinity, describes the theft, as well as a way to restore those pure sounds of the bells that are so needed by the lost souls of Kali. Although when a pure devotee speaks, this articulation of his voice may resemble the sound of the material sky, but the voice is more spiritually very powerful because it touches the particles of saffron dust on the lotus feet of the Lord. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 4:20-25.